Released on September 10th in early access, Towerborne is the first beat-em up coming from the guys at Stoic Studio, the same developers from the acclaimed The Banner Saga, an amazing tactical RPG that I highly recommend you to take a look if you enjoy this type of game. Towerborne is also being published by the almighty Microsoft and will be available in 2025 for Xbox and Game Pass. So far, it's only on Steam. Promising a lively and changing world, engaging combat, and a fun cooperative experience, Towerborne is an ambitious title for a beat-em up, and today we will check if these ambitions are met, or at least go in the right direction. But before all that, hi, I am Savino, and welcome to the Flying Kick channel. In Towerborne, you take the role of an ace, a recently deceased person who was brought back to life to fight against the hordes that ravage the world. You live in the Belfry, a huge tower that harbors the survivors from the monster's manslaughter. The Belfry is the world's last hope, and you are here to protect it. The story is somewhat interesting, but unfortunately is not very well developed yet. I mean, you have an awesome cutscene at the beginning of the game that really set the overall tone, but after that, you got nothing. There is more story inside the game, of course, but it is presented in boring dialogue boxes when you get a new quest that unfortunately did nothing for me. I'm not the biggest fan of long stories and beat-em ups. I want to go to the action as fast as possible, but I like to follow the story if it is presented in new and interesting ways. Silent boxes are a simple way to expand the story without expanding too much, but for that to work for me, I must be already invested in your world, or I would rather use my limited time to play instead of reading. But that's just me and not really a problem, since you can easily skip through the dialogues and, in the end, they don't make much of a difference if you're here just to fight cool-looking monsters. While I may not be that invested in the story, at least not for the moment, I'm very invested in the presentation and graphics of this game. First of all, most of you know that I'm way more in favor of pixel art or hand-drawn than I am of 3D models in these games. More often than not, when talking about 3D beat-em ups, you can expect janky animations and moves that don't flow properly when you're unleashing combos left and right, creating an experience that, while sometimes it can be fun, doesn't look particularly good. In Towerborne, both animations and graphics are insanely good. The fluidity your character and enemies have is something that you wouldn't expect for a small studio like Stoic. This is some triple-A stuff made with some extreme care and thought over each small detail of every animation. Sure, some animations will clip into another, but the transitions are so fast and so well done that you won't notice anything unless you're really looking for it. But it's not only that. The way your character moves, the way enemies walk, run and attack you are all so fluid, so cartoony. As a good friend told me after I showed him some clips, it looks like something out of Ghibli Studio, and he isn't wrong, you know. It's not only the fluid animations that give this impression, but also the amazing graphics and the excellent use of vivid and oversaturated colors. This is a vibrant world that, even in darker places, will brighten your day. From the most beautiful green fields you will ever see to the frigid snowy mountains, there is no place in this game that you won't love to visit. Yeah, some will give you nightmares thanks to the enemies in those places, but we will talk about that later. For now, just imagine that you will be able to visit some gorgeous places with some magnificent vistas. I could end here, but I want to talk about the Belfry, which is your hub, and it is also a sight to behold. The materials and textures they use in this place are so beautiful, the whole thing looks like a piece of art. The shadows from the windmills, the whole world down below, the dozens of NPCs taking care of their lives, the shops and stands filled with goodies. It's really something special. This place is huge, and you can lose some time here just wandering around looking for every and each detail. It's a true feast for the senses because it not only looks good, but it also sounds amazing. Walking around the Belfry, you will be assaulted by sounds of all kinds. chattering, water flowing, the windmills creaking while spinning. There's so much stuff to listen to here, and it's so well done that it's hard to not lose yourself inside this place. The music here is also fantastic, very fitting to the overall mood of the place. While here, you will hear mostly pianos that are the lead in some incredible tunes. It's a different experience to listen to this type of melodies in a beaten up, but walking around the lively belfry, listen to these songs while the myriad of other sounds fill the air among the notes is a relaxing and very pleasant experience. And the level of care with the tunes that you will hear while in the belfry is the same throughout the whole game. I will be the first to say that not every song here is fitting to the action take place on the screen. Most of the compositions in the levels have a medieval fantasy style that, while perfectly good, can be sometimes too slow compared to the acrobatics happening on your screen. But that's really a minor complaint here because, as with the belfry, the sound work here is impressive. You hear the flash of your enemies being slashed, you can hear the liquid inside the explosive barrels bubbling before bursts, you can hear every squish that these pesky mushroom monsters do. It's impressive. I'm not sure who worked on the sound design in this game, but I must say that these people are amazing. Each enemy has its own set of sounds and you will learn to recognize the sounds as they announce the arrival of the enemies. It's very fun to hear their noises coming outside the screen while you prepare yourself for them, knowing beforehand what's coming. I highly recommend you to play this one wearing headphones because this is a game where sounds matter and can help you a lot in combat. As I said, it can prepare you, giving you time to pick your best set of moves to counter whatever is coming your way, and man, you have a ton of moves. But not all are at your disposal at first or all the time, for that matter. Let's start from the beginning. Towerborne is, before anything else, an always online action RPG with beaten up mechanics. Yeah, that's a mouthful. As such, the first thing you have to do in this game is create a character. And my friends, let me tell you, you have a ton of options. You probably already saw videos about the customization in this game, if not, the official channel has one about it, but I can guarantee you that this game will let you create the character of your dreams. Or nightmares. After creating your character, you'll be prompted with the intro, and then you are thrown into a tutorial level that will teach you the very basics of the game. Then you're back to the belfry and can start to play as you desire, picking one of the 4 classes that are pretty different from each other. You have the Sentinel, the first class you will be playing the game that can be compared to an all-rounder character in other beaten ups, good speed, good agility and good defensive capabilities. Carrying a sword and a shield, you'll be able to hack and slash through hordes of enemies while blocking and parrying incoming attacks. Another class is the Pyro class, which is the tank of the bunch. With lots of strong moves and a very long reach, this class can be a bit slower compared to the rest, but you'll be mowing enemies with ease. There's also the Rock Breaker, which feels a lot like a typical beaten up character thanks to its powerful gloves and lots of punches to the face. This is the only class to use its fists to fight, so you have a short reach but a lot of strength and, most importantly, speed. Talking about speed, this is the main trait of the Shadow Striker, which is the fastest with good reach, but as you can imagine, is the weaker of the bunch. But don't underestimate this class because its aerial attacks can be very powerful. After picking your favorite class, the game will make you play with each one of them as a quest, so you have to try them all. You can take quests around the belfry or simply jump into the overworld to pick a mission by yourself, and let me tell you, the world is huge. Each one of these hexagons is a procedurally generated level, each one with different levels of difficulty, and there are hundreds of them. You can pick any difficulty you want, but the game will let you know if you're trying to bite more than you can chew. Each level will reward you with gear that you can wear, which can range from weapons to materials that can be used to upgrade your gear. It's like a Diablo game, but with muscles instead of magic. Well, you have magic too, but we will talk about it in a bit. The gear you can earn can be shared between multiple classes except for the class-exclusive weapons, and all of them have their stats that are common in this type of game, as well as sets that you can combine to earn extra buffs. I mean, this is exactly like Diablo or a looter shooter where you get a bunch of gear, pick the ones that make the numbers go up, destroy the rest to get upgrade materials, and max out the gear you have until you find something better. You know exactly how it goes. Towerborne is, interestingly, a game that encourages you to pick harder levels. Each one of these hexagons that you clear is gone for good. So far there are 4 difficulties in the game, and each one of them, aside from the first one, must be unlocked back in the Belfry in a trial that you can take part anytime you want. After that, the new difficulty and a new area on the map will open to you. If the new difficulty is too hard for you, you can always quit the mission without any loss and restart again. The levels in the game are randomly generated, so if a certain run is giving you trouble, you can restart it and get a whole new different set of enemies. The game doesn't have an end, as expected, but it has a level cap for each one of your characters, and it will take you around 10 hours to reach, if you keep fooling around like I did. I wasn't able to level up all my characters as I wished for reasons I will disclose ahead, but for now I can say that I was fighting something way worse than any enemy. Actually, I would rather be fighting the enemies because the combat in this game is something else. First, let me explain what you have. In Towerborne, you have the 2 attack systems with a weak and quick attack and a strong and slow one. You have your jump with the respective aerial attacks, a dodge, and several specials that will differ according to the weapons you use. You see, despite being able to carry only one type of weapon, your character will find different classes of weapon that can grant different types of special, changing the way you approach the game. You also have a magic attack that will change according to the Umbra you are currently carrying with you. Umbras are these small creatures that you will find around the game and can grant you different types of powers, from ranged attacks to powerful lightning strikes that will recharge with time as you play. There's also a Vigor thing that will grant you a different type of attack depending on the class you play. Vigor is recharged with time and you usually have 3 bars. But it doesn't end here. You can also hold both your attacks to perform a more powerful move that can easily stun some of your enemies. As you can see, the game offers a ton of ways to engage in combat. Mixing these attacks can also result in different combos, and the number of combos you have at your disposal is incredible. Mixing weak and strong attacks will result in different moves depending on the order you press the buttons, and you can also put in the mix your special or magic attacks. Look, I could go on and on here talking about the many stuff you can do in this game, but images can talk louder than words, so take a look at this. The AI here is also pretty good. Enemies will circle you, take advantage of your whiffs, and give you a ton of headaches thanks to their tactics. They can avoid environmental hazards with ease, and they know how to corner and destroy you if you let your guard down. Enemies can be pretty aggressive in this game, especially on harder levels, and it can be even a bit overwhelming when they come in great numbers, and trust me, they will. Overall, the combat in Towerborne is amazing. This is truly one of the most fluid and fun combats I ever experienced in a beat'em up. Not only do you have a ton of flexibility and options when facing hordes of enemies, but their reactions are extremely satisfying. It's pretty rewarding when you finish that amazing combo. Honestly, this is a game I could play for hours and hours without a problem, because when you start to feel that things are getting repetitive, you can simply change a weapon, the Umbra or the class you are playing, and you have a whole different game to try. I'm really impressed by what the good folks from Stoic achieved here. Now, there are things I wish to see improved and others that I wish could be reverted, but yeah, some wishes are simply impossible. First of all, the online nature of the game. Yeah, I complained about this before, but it can be so frustrating. One of the reasons I couldn't max out all my characters, or any character for that matter except for one, was thanks to the multiple bugs I was having while trying to connect to the game. For hours, every day since launch, the game was unavailable to me, and of course, always when I had the time to play it. I understand the online aspect of the game, and I understand the co-op nature the devs were going for, but I don't understand why this game can't be offline. Keep everything as is, but let me play when the servers are off. Okay, you may need to connect to the server to get a daily quest, but you don't need to be always online for that. A ping to the server is more than enough, and if there's no response, no problem. And worse, if this game isn't successful enough, the servers will be shut down and the game will be lost forever. I know every developer dreams that their game will be a hit, but we need to keep our feet to the ground and think about the long run. The game is pretty good and it will be a shame to have it lost. The combat, while pretty good, is still missing some key elements like a grab or the ability to cancel your combos with a jump or a dodge. Talking about the dodge, it really needs some tweaking because right now, when trying to dodge, you first give a small dash to the direction you're pressing and only after that your character will actually dodge. I lost countless lives to bosses thanks to this delay and the dodge not being able to cancel the end of an attack. I know this is a trade and you must commit to your moves, but here your moves do not cause that much damage to be worth the risk. So a lot of your fights with the big guys will be a game of cat and mouse while you try to break them. Oh yeah, the bosses and some enemies have shields that make them immune to hit stuns, which is never fun. Having to circle around an enemy until their shield is broken will always lead to boring gameplay. Yes, with 2 or more people this makes sense, but since the game is mostly solo, this becomes an annoyance pretty quick. The other thing is the procedural nature of the game. While this can be a good thing and grant virtually infinite levels to play, things should be very well tuned to avoid unfair spikes of difficulty. Currently, you can be 100 points above the recommended strength to enter a level and yet take a beating because the enemy spawn system went crazy and spawned dozens of high-level enemies and a couple of bosses at once on you. I mean, you will see all 3 lives you get per level being drained like it was nothing. Some enemies can attack you off screen, especially the archers and these spear-bearing creatures that can be pretty annoying. Yes, you can indeed hear them coming or firing from afar, but that's only if you really pay attention to it and, more often than not, in the middle of all the fuss, chances are you won't notice them coming and you'll be too late when you do. Also, as much as I love the Belfry as a hub and the overworld map, you will lose a lot of time walking around these places. In the Belfry, you will be walking up and down to talk with quest givers, to go to the overworld map, to the forge to upgrade your items and so on. And in the overworld, well, the map is so big that you will end up losing some good time walking around. There's a full view of the map, so clicking on some key places could easily teleport you to save you some time. Also, the online is completely broken, and for an online game, this is bonkers. In more than 20 hours of playing, I was only able to pair with someone else twice for a single level. Do you see all those hexes around? Yeah, you can only play alone in those. To play with more people, you have to go where you can see monsters on the map and try your luck to see if you find someone else to play. Spoilers? You won't. There is no matchmaking aside from calling a friend on your list. Also, the game ended up balanced for co-op in higher difficulties, but you can only play alone, which makes no sense. And there's finally the grind. Yeah, you will grind a lot, both to level up and to find the best gear for your character, because there are no stores in the game. I ended up spending 2 hours playing just to find a pair of pants that I could level up to the max, and every single time it gave me useless stuff. And you will get a lot of items, dismantle, then upgrade your newly acquired set, rinse and repeat. Yeah, it's common in RPGs, but here To get the items to upgrade your gear, you need to pass through a very tedious process of manually selecting the items you want to recycle. I really don't understand why this is a thing. Since you have a button to favorite your best gear, why not have a button to dismantle everything but then? I mean, try to select 112 items and tell me if I'm wrong. Towerborne is in the end a very good game. Great graphics, excellent sound design and OST, amazing combat and lots of customization make this game something very special and something that we haven't seen in quite a while. For $25, the price of admission in the early access, I could say this game is worth every cent. I would pay much more gladly if this was mostly an offline game, but alas, it's not. Towerborne will become a free-to-play game next year, and it pains to see they are going in this direction. I would rather have this game as a standard game, and I would pay $40 or $50 for it, no questions asked. Right now, it's up to you. The problems with the server will probably be addressed very soon, and more content will come in the next few months, so there's plenty to do here for $25. But if you think that you have too much on your hands right now, well, it will be free next year and more complete than ever, so you are good waiting. And if you get this one, give me a shout, and I will add you on my Steam list so you can have a few matches together. And that's it for the review, guys. I hope you enjoyed this pretty big video talking about this pretty big game. I will be back soon enough with more reviews for you guys, and other than that, I hope you all have an awesome day. And remember, keep it up.